Live from New York City, it's the Gary Null Show. And now, your host, Gary Null.
Hi, I'm Gary Null. Nice to have you with us today. As always, we begin our program with the latest on peer-reviewed, highly qualified scientific literature. This comes from the Cochrane collaboration, as well as the Birmingham VA Medical Center. And it deals with something that tens of millions of Americans suffer from every day, pain. This particular pain comes from a form of arthritis called osteoarthritis. Millions of people suffer from it. Now, I'm not going to deal with what causes it, which is what we really should put our attention on, but rather how to alleviate the symptoms, get rid of the swelling, get more mobility into the joints. Now, for a long time, those of us in the health field have known that there are two items that really turn off pain in the joints from arthritis: chondroitin sulfate and glucosamine sulfate, generally 500 milligrams of each. You could also throw in some sea cucumber. There are other things, of course, including cayenne, cat's claw, lots of things turn off inflammation. But these are really the heavyweights, and they're non-toxic. So one of the most prestigious scientific organizations in the world, the Cochrane collaboration, examined 43 clinical trials. And what they found was, yes, indeed, looking at over 9,110 people in these studies, that you could turn off the pain and do so with improvements in your osteoarthritis without the adverse effects. I think that's very important. Now, of course, with so many people having pain, I will deal briefly with that. Why? Inflammation. What are the primary causes of inflammation? Alcohol, that's a big one in any amount, including from wines and beer, but also protein. Too much protein causes inflammation, and that's really bad. And you feel that frequently in the feet, in the toes, and the ankles. And also, you have to look at the protein in wheat flour, and which a lot of people are allergic to, but aren't aware of it until they test themselves. Get the gluten out of the diet. Now, there's a simple test that you can take for yourself, and it's fairly accurate. It's called the Cocoa Pulse test, named after Dr. Cocoa, who invented it. And it simply is this: you take, without getting out of bed in the morning, that's the key, you take your pulse when you wake up. Let's just say, for argument's sake, it's 75. Okay, you stay in bed. And you have one single item, maybe a partner bring it to you, and if not, just put it on your nice table before you go to bed at night. Let's just say it's bread. So you take a piece of bread in the morning, you put it in your mouth, chew it around. You can swallow it or not, but then you don't get out of bed. You don't exercise, you don't do anything for 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, you take your pulse again. If your pulse is up 5 beats or more per minute, let's say it goes to 80 from 75, make a note of that. You'll retest yourself again on another day, but there's a high probability you're allergic to what's in the bread. Not a whole lot in the bread, but at least that narrows it down. You could do the same thing with a piece of cheese to see if you're allergic to cheese or dairy. Now, sometimes you'll see physical symptoms, but not always. And for example, when you drink coffee, you're not aware of how it's clashing with the hydrochloric acid in your stomach, and that can cause gastric reflux, meaning the hydrochloric acid in your stomach is now being belched back up into the esophagus, which is very, very vulnerable, sensitive mucous membrane lining. And if you keep doing that, you're going to end up with GERD. And that's why a lot of people have that. In fact, that can in time lead to esophageal cancer, which is a fast rising cancer around the world because people are drinking so much caffeine and coffee. It also is highly anabolic, and it acts as a diuretic. Now think of that. A diuretic will cause a flushing of liquids out of the body, and including what's in the intestine. Well, let's just say you've taken your vitamins with coffee. I'm sure there's some people who do that. They're not going to get the same absorption of those vitamins. They're going to get wasted. So always take your supplements with a juice or with a warm, not hot or cold liquid. And always throw them in a blender if you have poor digestion and blend them up. Take them in a smoothie. It'll be easier on your system and they'll get better absorbed. Simple. And also, just stay away from overeating. We're putting too much calories into our body at one time. That causes inflammation. And also, we're sometimes drinking cold liquids with a hot meal. That's not smart. That's not good. And we're miscombining foods. We're taking simple sugars that require no digestion in the stomach, a monosaccharide, with things that take a long time to digest, like animal proteins. In fact, most people are not aware of this. Let's just say you eat a breakfast with bacon and eggs, or sausage and eggs, so still the same as pork. And if you eat any of these fast food breakfasts, you're getting eggs and bacon, even sausage, even though bacon and sausage are the same. You're getting also sometimes hamburger patty on that. I mean, it's outrageous what they're trying to feed you, thinking, well, we have product differentiations. We're different than our competitors. All unhealthy, all causing disease, and everyone knows this. It's no secret. How long do you think it's going to take for your breakfast to digest? Depending upon how much you ate, depending upon how fast you ate, depending upon how much liquid was in the meal along with the breakfast, like coffee or milk or soda, and how much caffeine is in that, because all these different chemicals are going to hit the hydrochloric acid in your stomach. And that means you're going to slow down digestion. Now, if you have cheese in there, you eat in a fast food restaurant, they're probably going to put cheese on that meal. Then that slows down everything. That's like going from 70 to 5 miles an hour on a highway. That means that you probably have most of your breakfast in your stomach when you eat lunch. Well, how's that supposed to work? It doesn't work. You end up with dumping syndrome, where the stomach is so full, it then starts to dump underlying partially digested particles of food into the intestine. That's not good. Why? Well, the intestine doesn't do a whole lot of digestion outside of fats coming in, and you have the fat being broken down, and so it can be better absorbed. The more fat you have in a meal, the worse it is for digestion. Then you go through the day having more snacks, frequently sugars, and those sugars, because they don't digest in the stomach, they ferment. That causes bloating and gas. And then that gives you that irritable feeling. Now, come dinner time, depending upon when you eat dinner, you could still have lunch in your stomach. And then after we eat, if we eat a big meal at night, and many people do, and you have a lot of protein in that meal, most people eat their big protein meal at night, lots of fat, then when you go to bed, you still have dinner in your stomach. That's really not good. That interrupts the sleep-awake cycle, and it causes a lot of problems in your intestine. So that's where your inflammation comes from. That's where a lot of arthritis comes from, and we could avoid it. We could prevent it. Just saying. Next up, from Mount Sinai Hospital, skipping breakfast may compromise your immune system. Fasting, not eating breakfast at all, may be detrimental to fighting off infections. And that could lead to an increased risk of heart disease, according to new study from the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. The research, which focused on mouse models, is among the first to show that skipping meals triggers a response in the brain that negatively affects your immune cells. The result that focus on breakfast were published in Immunity, a peer-reviewed journal, and could lead to a better understanding of how chronic fasting may affect the body long-term. Now, people fast for different reasons. To have a controlled fast from dinner to breakfast, that's smart. That's intermittent fasting. And the scientific literature has hundreds of studies supporting you're going to live a longer life and be healthier if you have a controlled fast, meaning you don't eat anything from dinner until breakfast. But you have to have breakfast. But a lot of people say, no, I'm not hungry. So they'll have coffee. And then that's not good. That's going to adversely affect their blood sugar. And now we see it's adversely affecting their immunity. Or a lot of people say, well, I've got to lose weight, so I'm only going to eat 1 meal a day. Again, not smart. Your body needs nutrients, especially the antioxidants, throughout the day. Your body needs fiber and water throughout the day. But it's not getting it. It's getting too many calories with 1 meal, because when people eat 1 meal, they tend to overeat because they're so hungry. And the satiety mechanism isn't working. As a result, they're eating at least 20 to 50% more calories than their body normally would if they broke it down and had a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. Now, if you want to lose weight, eat a plant-based diet. Because, for example, when I have a smoothie, as I did this morning for my breakfast, I finished my dinner yesterday early. It was 5 o'clock, and I didn't have my breakfast this morning until after 9 o'clock. So I had a good, almost 15 hours more or less of fasting. That helps the system. I kept fully hydrated. That helps the system. I took the supplements that I knew my immune system and my body needs. That helps. But then when I went to have a smoothie, and I put in different powders that I use for vegetables and fruits. I put in essential fatty acid oils, including olive oil, coconut oil, and flaxseed oil, or hemp oil. I put in some nut butter, a big heaping tablespoon of nut butter, about 2 tablespoons in there. Today it was walnut. Yesterday it was almond. And these come from sprouted raw nuts, the highest quality of nutrient input with enzymes galore. Enzymes are the spark plugs of life. The more enzymes you have, the healthier you're going to be. And where do you get most of your enzymes? You guessed it, fruits and vegetables, then nuts and seeds, because you can eat all those raw and that, or sprouted. And that's where a lot of enzymes come from. And I'm also getting the chlorophyll and the fibers, soft digestion fibers. I also make sure I get billions of probiotics, so I throw that in the smoothie as well. And then I'll use a different type of liquid each morning to liquefy it. It might be coconut milk or almond milk. I generally don't use almond milk though, but rice milk or apple juice. And then that's my smoothie. Now I don't drink the smoothie all at once. I drink the smoothie over about 2 hours. So therefore, there's no overwhelming of the digestive system. It comes in and then it's able to be absorbed. So my blood sugar doesn't spike. I don't have that glycemic index up and then down. As a result, it's more even. And when you put nuts and seeds, because the fat in them, they slow down digestion. Therefore, they don't spike your blood sugar level. Whereas if you have a bagel, or if you have a donut, or if you have sugar-coated cereal, oh, you're going to get a big spike. I mean, a big spike. That's dangerous. And then you're going to come down. Now, mid-morning, you're fatigued. You go for the coffee, you get the sugar, you get another spike. And all day long, you're on this roller coaster. You're shortening your life substantially. So now you've had protein, amino acids. You've had from the beans and nuts, whatever is used in the protein vegetable mix. You've had chlorophyll. You've had a full spectrum of fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and the good fats in your body, all of which help your immune system. But you haven't had refined sugars, which can depress your immune system. Do you realize that if you have a sugar-coated cereal, which no one should ever have, that sugar in that cereal can help suspend a substantial amount, depending upon how many grams, of your immune system for up to 6 hours? Well, hold on. What if you had sugar several times a day? Then your immune system is not helping you for much of the day. All right? See, these are the things when you study and have a background in nutritional biochemistry and organic chemistry and the immune system. And I'm just writing a major paper on how you can build up your immune system. I'll be presenting it on this program as part of our Classroom on the Air. Oh, and by the way, let me just mention quickly that every day I've been doing a Classroom on the Air on a lot of different topics. I've done them on how to have your own hydroponic farm, how to freeze-dry food, how to grow fruit trees in your backyard, no matter where you live, and have fresh salad greens 12 months a year, even if you live in Canada. So I'm showing you all these things. These are short clips. Also how to exercise and how to hit every muscle group in your body, how to get your body fat down. These are free. And I have hundreds of them up. And you can go to the Gary Null YouTube and download them. You can go over to Rumble and look at and put in Gary Null Film Library and download them. And you can go to Odysee and download them. And they're there to help you, okay? Nothing to buy, just enjoy them. But I found something interesting, and I just want to share this with you before we finish up today. Because a lot of people only watch the health nutrition. You're watching this now, by the way, because I'm video streaming this. Then when I do my radio show, because my Comrex unit in New York is out of sync and we're trying to get a new one brought in, I have to do it by telephone. And so when I go from the camera here to the telephone, so I can take your calls, because today I really want to get your calls in. I've got some really important stuff I'm sharing. But I'm getting a lot of calls, a lot of emails, I mean, flooded with emails about, not about health, nutrition, but about what to do with all the problems we're faced with today. And we've got a lot of problems that we're all faced with. And those who have good resources, good support systems, they're better able to deal with these crises. But a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people are lonely. A lot of people, it's just them. So I'm doing a whole new series, about 80 different classrooms on the air. These are about an hour long. One might be dealing with insecurity, dealing with fear, dealing with uncertainty, dealing with guilt and shame. I'm dealing with the things that really make a difference. They deal with you at a personal level with meaning and purpose in life. And a lot of people have gotten a lot of good feedback on this. I mean, so try to find my Classroom on the Air. It's easy to find, all right? And benefit from it. So understand something. We have a lot that we can do to stay healthier longer. But don't skip breakfast ever again, and eat a healthy breakfast. No more of this, because it's going to lead to heart disease, according to this study at Mount Sinai. All right? You want a strong immunity, and this was published in the peer-reviewed journal, Immunity. And the director of cardiovascular research said, don't skip breakfast, but have a healthy breakfast. Why? Because you want a healthy immune system. Why? Specifically, you're going to see a difference when you have a healthy breakfast in monocytes, monocytes, which are the white blood cells that are made in the bone marrow and travel through the body, where they play many critical roles, from fighting infections to heart disease to cancer. All right? You want a good amount of monocytes. But after 4 hours, monocytes from a fasting group were dramatically affected. They found 90% of these cells disappeared from the bloodstream. And that's not good. And the rest were gone after 8 hours. So all this fasting's hurting monocytes. Okay? You need them. All right? You need to have your blood constantly filled with antioxidants throughout the day, because your body is affected by everything in our environment 24 hours a day. Also, there's a nutrient, it's called glutamine, G-L-U-T-A-M-I-N-E. That means it's amino acid. And this Washington University in St. Louis found that glutamine, which is the most common amino acid found in your muscles, and it plays a key role in protein metabolism and the ability to secrete human growth hormone, which helps metabolize body fat and support new muscle growth. And researchers now have found that a daily L-glutamine dose of 30 grams per day was associated with a significant reduction in the ratio of specific biomarkers for obesity. L-glutamine supplementation promotes a positive nitrogen balance and prevents the loss of muscle. Now, every year of my life, well, since I was a teenager, I've taken a photograph, generally in shorts and flexing, front, side, back. Why? Not because of ego. I don't care about that. Instead, I care about, am I staying the same longer? Am I changing? Am I getting weaker, losing muscle mass, tone? And I want to stay as healthy and youthful as long as I can. It's a reasonable objective, one that we all should care about, because to the degree you're able to do that, you're also preventing premature aging and diseases. So these are not, selfies in the face. I don't take selfies, but rather I do things with intent. So when we finished a race, a bunch of us from New York City down here in Florida in the state championship, we all won. But you get to see people, all senior citizens, who look like the bodies of 20-year-olds, all right? And these are real, all right? No photo touching. So I want you to start taking pictures of yourself. And you're going to say, no, I don't want to see myself. Yes, you want to see yourself. Because only when you come to grips with what you are now, which is an accumulation of all the positive or negative choices you've made up to this point, then you have the right to say, I want to be healthier. I want my muscle mass back. I know that starting at 40, we begin to lose about 1% of our muscle mass per year. By 50, it goes up, and by 60, it's 2% per year. By 70, it's 3% of your body muscle mass per year. That means that you're just going to get really, skinny, no muscle, no skin tone. Your skin's just going to droop, and you're going to get crepey skin. You're going to have no strength, endurance, stamina. And then you're going to not exercise because you don't have the strength and endurance to exercise, in which case you're going to have poor circulation. Blood's going to pool in the legs and the calves and the feet. You're going to have varicose veins. What a mess. It's preventable, but it takes you to say it's important. So just start with glutamine, all right? Because you want to keep your muscle mass. That will help you do it, okay? In fact, recent studies have shown that taking just 2 grams, that's 2,000 milligrams of L-glutamine, I recommend 5,000 milligrams, can increase growth hormone levels by 400%. Let me repeat that, because I don't believe there's a person watching me right now all over the world who couldn't use Be Healthier, unless you're perfect. Everybody needs help, but everybody also needs discipline. That we're lacking. Everybody needs intent and purpose. That we're lacking. Everybody needs self-awareness and cognitive awareness of one's choices, positive or negative. That we're lacking. So on the one hand, the solution is simple. It's simple. Care for yourself. But unfortunately, we're not doing it. And if we're trying, we're doing it the wrong way. I want the magic pill, Gary. It doesn't exist. Well, I'm not going to change until you get it. Okay, that's your karma. But for those of you who want to change, and there are a lot of you, make real change, make complete change. All right? Let's start with glutamine. If you want to go up and see what a whole bunch of senior citizens look like, and you're going to say that they can't be senior citizens. They can't be. Yeah, they are. I'm proud of it. They're not denying or hiding their age. They're the new model. They're the exemplars. Because all you have to have is one person who changes in a way that gives other people motivation. Well, if she did it, I could do it. He did it, I could do it. If he's older and look younger, why can't I also be younger? Because the younger you are, the longer you're going to live, the healthier you're going to be if you make the right choices. So you see, it's all interconnected. All of this is interconnected. That's why I'm doing this new series on Classroom on the Air, to try to motivate people at the human, the spiritual, the emotional, the life level. I think you'll find them important. All right? Let's start by getting more of our human growth hormone, because that's how we keep our muscle mass. And then exercising all the muscles in the group, that's how we keep our muscle mass. Then taking the branched amino acids afterwards and the ribose, that's how we keep our muscle mass. So you don't waste away. All right? Simple, easy, good information. Finally, a study of intravenous mistletoe extract to treat advanced cancer. Who says? That's nonsense. No, it's not. Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine says the following, that mistletoe extract has been widely used, we know that, to support cancer therapies and improve quality of life. But there has been a lack of clinical trials and data to support its use. Researchers at Johns Hopkins Kimmel Cancer Center completed what is believed to be the first phase trial of intravenous mistletoe. And that's what they have found. The findings from this study, reported in Cancer Research Communications, said it makes a difference. It improved quality of life and some disease control. Now, mind you, that's just mistletoe extract. What if they used 100,000 milligrams of vitamin C and 5 cc's of glutathione? They're not even into that. They're not aware of that. But for those of us who have seen thousands upon thousands of patients at the Tri-State Healing Center with 22 medical staff who saw it daily, yeah, it works. I'm glad they're finally doing this. Good for them. Now you've done the intravenous mistletoe, then let's see you do intravenous vitamin C for those same advanced cancer patients. Just a suggestion. I'm Gary Knoll. We're going to take a break and come back. Oh, and by the way, there's always been this question, which is better, hypnosis, meditation, or prayer to help us with pain management? So researchers compared the immediate effects of hypnosis, mindful meditation, and prayer on pain intensity and tolerance. And the results suggest that a single session of hypnosis and mindful meditation, but not prayer, may be useful in managing acute pain, with hypnosis being a little more useful. Because when you're dealing with pain, sometimes that pain is precipitated by psychological stressors from later in life. So it helps because they can release that energy. I'm going to take a break and be right back. Please stay with us.
Are you tired of closed-minded programming? Well, look no further than PRN.Live, the home for progressive voices.